Hi, I'm Arthur Fery, and you are listening to the Functional Tennis Podcast.
Hi, Arthur. Welcome to the Functional Tennis Podcast. How are you?
Good, thanks. Thanks for having me, Fabio. Good
Oh,
to be
no,
here.
great. It's great. Thanks. It's after 11 p.m. there. It's 7 a.m. here in Ireland. So thanks for jumping on. I know you're training hard and sleep is important. So if your coach finds out, we're probably going to be in trouble here. What time do you normally hit the bed at?
Not too late. I'll be off to bed after this. I'd say maybe 11:30, 12.
Nice.
Got a bit of an early morning tomorrow as well, so
What,
that's
what
fine.
what's the plan look like? Were you playing this weekend or what's going on this week?
Yeah, so we're leaving to Arizona tomorrow to play two matches on the weekend, Friday and Sunday. We just came back from Los Angeles yesterday, so we played UCLA and USC on the weekend. So yeah, it's all unraveling pretty fast. Season's in full flow now.
Nice. And it's your second year in Stanford. Oh, sorry, not in Stanford. So you must be getting used to things, the surroundings. Has there been any change from first year and second year where you were new there and it took a while to adjust?
Yeah, 100%. Second year, I've definitely felt a lot more comfortable in this environment. Being pretty far from London, from my home. First year and in the autumn as well, of 2021 was kind of tough adjusting, being so far away. Now I'm slowly getting to the groove of things. It's the first time I've actually spent 4 or 5 months in a row over here, so it's good. Yeah, I'm really making new friends over here. Obviously, spending a lot of time with the team, and it's great.
Nice. And okay, we'll get to more college stuff in a few minutes. But first, let's go back to you mentioned your home, London. You grew up beside Wimbledon.
Yeah, that's right. Like 5 minutes away from Wimbledon, walking distance.
Where did you play tennis? I don't think you probably didn't play there. Did your parents play there?
Yeah, so I grew up in a tiny little club next to my house called Westside. And yeah, Wimbledon was the All England's pretty prestigious. My mum was lucky enough to become a temporary member there a few years ago, so she uses that quite a lot. I've played there with her for a few times as well. But yeah, obviously not open to everyone. And I was lucky to play during the championships last year, but mostly around Wimbledon, but not at the All England.
Okay. And what was more inspirational? So your parents or your mother playing tennis or having Wimbledon beside you, or mix of both?
I think a mix of both. We also the tiny little club next to our house was literally 50 meters away. So that was definitely, and with also a great coach over there who helped me out from a young age. So that was really what pushed me. Both my parents very sporty, so they made me try a bunch of sports: football, tennis, basketball. Ultimately, I chose tennis, but I was exposed to a lot of sports from a young age.
And who was your coach?
Alison Taylor, now, who was the head coach at Westside. She's also working with, I don't know if you've heard of Hannah Klugman yet. She's a little 13-year-old, very, very good player. So yeah, I worked with her when I was young, and now she's also working with Hannah, who's also hopefully going to be a great player.
And when did you stop working with her?
I would say I stopped working with her when I was around maybe 12, 13, and I moved to a slightly bigger academy called Sutton, a little further south, where I started working with Craig Veal, who now works with a lot of the doubles players on the WTA tour. So yeah, I've kind of changed coaches here and there, but ultimately I've had like 3, which I also had a French coach later on. So we've worked with Craig and this French coach called Benoit as a 3 for the past 4 or 5 years now, and really progressed together.
Nice. And you have your parents are French, correct?
Yeah,
So
but
you would have spent a bit of time playing in France. I did read that you would have played a lot of men's tournaments as a junior. How important was it for you to play those tournaments rather than just playing junior tournaments?
yeah, I played a lot. I played a lot of French men's tournaments, especially in the summer when I went over there for the break. I think helped me a lot. It took a lot of the pressure off my shoulders. At 15, 16, when you're not necessarily ready to go straight onto the ITF Junior Tour and playing developed 18-year-olds, and you've got plenty of eyes on you. I really enjoyed taking the men's tournaments route, where I had a little less pressure, and just could play lots of matches in France, and I improved that way.
Yeah, I've heard good things about. I'm not sure what the system is like right now, but I've heard good things about the draws over there, and it's a great way
Yeah,
to
it's
take
great.
matches in. And so, what was your mindset back then as a 15, 16-year-old? Was it, I'm going to go to college, I'm going to go pro?
Yeah, I really wanted to go to college, to be honest. When I was 15, I wasn't at the top level of my age nationally, so I was in a good school as well academically, so I was really expecting to go to college. And then I took, after GCSEs, so at the end of I think it's year 11. So at 16, I decided to take my A-levels, so 2 years of A-levels online. And I devoted my 2 years to playing on the junior tour when I was, fully matured and fully physically developed for that. And I improved quite a lot there. And obviously the question was asked whether I should go pro or college. And ultimately I chose college.
And you had a good run in Wimbledon. That was last. So that was between first year and second year. So you're already in college there. But was there ever I'm going to quickly jump forward here? Any thoughts there? Look, I'm just going to go pro here, or you're like, I'm sticking out this college?
Yeah, so I mean, I obviously thought about it. I thought about it before joining college. I still had that decision to make until the start of college. And then after the first year, I also had the opportunity to go pro. I told myself that, like Cameron Norrie and Paul Jubb did, they did 3 years, 4 years, and then stopped. The thing is, if you do more than 2 years or more in college, you can then have the opportunity to come back after and finish your degree. So that's kind of what I'm aiming to do. I'm aiming to finish my second year now, and then see if perhaps it is the time to go pro. I gave myself the option of finishing this year, the second year, and maybe being able to come back rather than just jumping straight into the pros.
Nice. And so going back, when you were 16, you finished your G levels quite early. Are they called G levels or GCSEs?
GCSEs.
And
pretty wordy.
Yeah, pretty. And also, when did you choose Stanford? Were you looking at other universities? And
I looked at quite a few universities. I really enjoyed the idea of California. So I had Cal Berkeley, UCLA, USC also on my radar. And I chose Stanford ultimately because the academics are so world renowned, and the program over here for tennis is also great. And Paul Goldstein, the head coach, was top 60 in the world, so he obviously knows what he's doing. So we've got a great bunch of guys, great coaches, and the academics here are obviously top notch. So I chose that. So that was what really led me to Stanford, but I'm sure I would have enjoyed myself in other California schools too.
And what are you majoring in?
I'm majoring in what they call science, technology, and society here at Stanford. It's a specific major. It's basically business, and hopefully I'll major in that at the end of my 4 years here.
And is the educational side of things quite tough? We know Stanford's a prestigious college with they're all high achievers there, so many people. So is the pressure to get good results there? Is what I'm trying to say, is there pressure to get good results on a daily basis?
Yeah, I mean, definitely more so than probably more so than any other college in the US, maybe apart from Harvard and a few other Ivy Leagues. But I mean, obviously there will be several majors which are tougher than others and some that are easier than others. I've probably chosen on the easier side of majors, just purely so I can have more time to have my head into tennis matters and be on the tennis court. But inevitably it means a lot of work and a lot of hours at the desk and in class, which, I mean, not only is a time commitment, but also like an energy commitment. You can't always, the number of times I've gone to the practice court and I've actually felt pretty drained because I've had 2, 3, 4 hours of just class time before. And it's more it's more important than you think.
Yeah, no,
It's a big commitment than you think.
yeah, no, I totally understand that. And you do hear every internet startup these days, they seem to come from startup. They seem to come from Stanford. Even the guys at Swing Vision, do you know the app?
Yeah,
They were
yeah.
one. The main guy was I think was a Stanford guy.
Stanford student.
So they're good.
Yeah,
So
so many entrepreneurs. It's crazy here.
and so what's a typical day? Tomorrow you're flying, but a typical training day and study day, what does that look like for you?
Yeah, so it varies depending on class schedules and stuff. But usually it's about 2.5 hours of tennis, whether it 2.5 to 3 hours, whether it's one big block or two 1 hour and a half blocks, depends. And then we'd have an hour of fitness in the gym usually, and it would probably be between 3 and 4 hours of class time, and then another 2 hours maybe of homework a day. That would be a pretty busy day, I would say.
Yeah.
Wake up at 8 and finish. I mean, you'd have dinner at 6:37 and then work after and finish at 9, you know. So it's not easy.
It's a long day. And what's it like? So you've come from obviously tennis isn't a team sport, and now you're playing it technically a team sport. There's so much, it's such a good camaraderie between you and your team. How have you have you enjoyed that?
Yeah, it's a very different concept to tennis, which is meant to be an individual sport. At the start, yeah, I mean, I've enjoyed it. I've been very fortunate to have a great group of guys on my team. One of some of my best friendships here at some of the guys in the team. So yeah, I've honestly really enjoyed it. It's fun playing the dual match seasons, having 6 guys in a row, battling out. You know, you're not alone. It has at times kind of led me to focus on others more than myself, which is good in some ways, also not very good in some ways. You're hoping that they're going to finish before you, so you don't have to finish, or that sort of stuff. So it's obviously a huge benefit, and because you're part of a team and you got guys constantly pushing you upwards. But you've also got to remember that once you turn pro, you will be alone. It will be an individual sport, so you can't rely on your teammates all the time.
No, well, now while you can, you can. And so last year when you arrived over there, did anybody take you under the wing? What important lessons did you learn quickly that helped you settle in?
Yeah, well, I mean, I had my 3 coaches. They were mentors for me, the seniors in the team as well. I mean, Axel was also a very good junior, and he spent 4 years in college. He helped me out there. But yeah, I mean, I learned to become a much more individual person, and take care of my own problems on my own without having my mum, my dad behind me. So yeah, I mean, I was living 8 hours behind everyone in Europe, and living on my own with a random student that I didn't know, also kind of led me to face reality.
You have to grow. You grew up quickly, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah. It took me a few months for sure, and now I feel like I'm slowly kind of learning to live real life, not to be at home,
And doing your own
being
washing.
mummied and being babied. Yeah.
And Coach Paul Goldstein, what big characteristics does he have? How much influence does he have on you?
Yeah. So he was a great player himself, and he's pretty small as well. So I'm 5'9". I think he's 5'8" even, or 5'9". So we have to deal with the same kind of difficulties. Not a huge serve, have to defend a lot. Got to be smart on court. So he's helped me with that, and also just his experience of the game. And I mean, he played for 10, 15 years, so he really knows the game off by heart. So that's really helped me.
And I've seen some of your matches on YouTube. I've seen some of the hot shots, and you seem to slice and dice people up pretty easy. Why do you think it seems like you've more time than the rest? That's just from luck, and I know the courts are slower, but you seem to have more time than the other guys. What is it? Why do you think you've become like your number one ranked player in the States up until this week? I checked where somebody else, but I'm sure you'll be back there.
Yeah,
What's your
hopefully.
secret?
I mean, I wouldn't be able to tell you, Anna, to be honest. I think it's partly my game style, partly um, I have an eye for the game. I anticipate the other guy's shots pretty fast, which can also be detrimental to my game sometimes. But I mean, it's just game style. I think it's obviously, everyone has strengths and everyone has weaknesses. That's lucky one of my strengths. Um, so yeah, I mean, I think it's something that I've been working on since a young age, and yeah, luckily it's benefited me in some ways, and hopefully it keeps benefiting me.
And how would you characterize your game style? Is there a bit of a French influence there? It's a mixture of British and French, is it?
Yeah, the Brits love saying I'm a very French flary player. I definitely think it's a pretty French game. I like coming to the net a lot of field shots. Um, could look pretty easy at times, but yeah, I mean that also comes with its downsides. French people, have the reputation of being pretty soft, pretty weak-minded. So I'm trying to work on that.
The British mind in the French game. And
Exactly.
so in all the matches you've played, all the all the travels you've made, what's your most memorable moment on court?
I mean, definitely Wimbledon this year. I I played my best match ever, the best level I played at for an extended period of time in that last match of qualifying. Um, I still lost, but nonetheless, it was one of the best experiences of my life, and I hope I'll be there again sometime soon. I I also think that Wimbledon juniors in 2019, I believe, was great experience making semis of doubles, and it was the first big tournament in juniors really big tournament that I played, and yet doing it in front of my friends and families so close to home was also an incredible experience.
Going back to the Wimbledon, the last round of qualies, I know you probably hate people saying this. You were two sets up in a breakup against
Yeah,
Colin Griekspoor, and like the two other matches you had were two big wins. Matt Ebden and I can't pronounce the other name.
Guinness Warren.
Yes, they're two big wins. And then, what lesson did you take? Where what can you tell us what happened? Was it a mental thing or was it an energy thing?
Yeah, it was a combination of a lot of things. I mean, I've obviously had time to think about it again now. It's been a
Yeah.
while, and yeah, I've thought about it a few times, safe to say. But yeah, I think it was a combination of a lot of things. I mean, obviously the first time I was put in that position, so close to qualifying for a major, which would have been, yeah, a dream come true, really. Um, the guy, in juniors, sometimes people kind of give up or go through the motions when they're starting to lose or very close to losing. That wasn't the case at that time. He came out with some incredible shots in the ends of the tie with the third set and fourth set tie breaks. Yeah, he really didn't. He really didn't give me anything. So it was my. I had to go finish the match off myself and didn't quite get there, but I didn't really lose the match. He really went to get it, and yeah, um, really played some good points. So yeah, that was pretty much the takeaway. It wasn't really a huge wrongdoing from me. It was a very close match, and tennis matches turn with a few points here and there. So that was what happened.
That's I've heard that from so many juniors who had in the podcast when they transition to senior is just the mindset of so many junior matches they've won because the other players just copped out. It gets tough and they cop out. It just doesn't happen when the men and females are working for their family. There's
Yeah,
no
yeah,
there's
for
no
sure. I mean, especially at that level, like Griekspoor, I think won. Yeah, I think he won 7 or 8 challenges in a row after that
yeah.
match. So I mean, he was already at that level. He was what 120 or 110 at that time, but realistically, he was playing top 100 tennis.
Well, and tell me, I know we briefly talked about the nil rule in the States. Did you collect a paycheck there?
Yeah. So the rule is in the for the college students is that you basically have to keep um, your amateur standing, being a college athlete. So you can only take as much as you expense. over the course of a year. So yes, I was able to put expenses of coaches and all the other expenses in front of it, and was able to kind of collect all of it.
Okay, it would have been nasty in the first round or second round where it
Yeah,
starts
I
adding up.
wouldn't have been able to take all of it.
You would have had to make up some crazy
Give some
expenses.
back to
Yeah,
give some back to the tournament.
yeah. And now the rules changed there now, has it? Now you can sort of earn some money for your image rights.
Yeah, so you still can't take prize money, which I hope will change soon, because it's pretty ridiculous, to be honest. But you can now take money. Sponsors or agents can now help you get money through brands and companies if you're giving something in return.
And have you been down that road, or?
Not really yet. No, I mean, I haven't had the opportunity really so far. It's been a pretty recent thing, and being in college, I haven't really focused on it either. At the end of this year, if I look to start a pro career, I might look into those sort of things more, but right now it's not my priority.
And what's the plan this summer?
I mean, there's a great swing of tournaments in the UK. I'm going to play the NCAA individual championships end of May in, I think it's Illinois. And then, got finals back on campus, and then straight back to the UK for the grass season. And hopefully I'll get some opportunities over there. I'm not going to have much time in between my final exams at Stanford and the Wimbledon qualies when I have as much time as last year. So that'll be a bit of a challenge. Hopefully I get the opportunity to play there again this year. If England and the LTA give the wild card to me. And then after that, there'll be a bunch of future tournaments, 25Ks on grass and on hard in the UK or in Europe. So that's really my plan.
Great. So you're going to be busy competing, which is great news. Just two more questions. One, who is your GOAT?
The GOAT for me, I mean, I think everyone will keep Federer's name in their heart forever. He was the most elegant player and the most effortless player to play the game. I think he unfortunately won't get past the 20 that he's on now, 20 Grand Slams. But I think he will. I mean, he'll stay the GOAT of elegance, and Grand Slam titles. It's going to be a good battle between Novak and Rafa. I think Novak will overtake Rafa, just purely because he has more years in front of him. But hopefully COVID doesn't stop him. But if COVID doesn't become a problem in the future, I think Novak could easily get to 25.
Yeah, definitely. Who's the GOAT of college tennis, by the way?
The GOAT of college tennis. I mean, Johnny McEnroe was playing college tennis when he just made semi-finals of Wimbledon and was 25 in the world, and he was still in college. So, I mean, that's pretty good.
He was, sorry, jump in. He was Stanford as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was at Stanford. Yeah, he
just give us a quick breakdown of players at Stanford. I know the Bryan brothers were there.
Both Bryan brothers, Paul Goldstein, Bradley Clarn, more recently, Jeff Tarango, I believe. Jeff Solzenstein, I want to say.
I know Jeff. Yeah, he was. You're right, he was.
Who else was there? Yeah, I wouldn't be able to give you any more, but there were definitely. We have a whole board of all top 100 players who went through Stanford. So I can tell you there are at least 20 on there.
You're like, I can't wait to see my name up there, my picture up there.
Exactly.
And final question, what advice do you have for other 15, 16-year-olds out there who are trying to make that college pro decision?
I mean, it's a tough decision for everyone. I think it's one which you have to think about. I would highly recommend college unless like a top junior or you really back yourself to play well right away at 18, because you have careers now lasts until 35, 36, even 40, as we saw with Roger. So, 4 years of college, giving yourself a backup plan in case tennis doesn't work out is not a bad it's not a bad idea at all. Obviously, there will be opportunities at a young age. If you're a good junior, you're going to get wild cards into challenges, um, and futures at a young age if you're good enough. So that's also an opportunity to go pro right away. You just got to balance it out and see what's best for you.
Nice. Arthur, thank you very much. Good night.
No
And yeah,
problem.
best of luck in your trip now over the next few days, and look forward to seeing a bit of pro tennis over the summer. Take care.
Thanks a lot for having me.